Two comics left. One more in the class, and then a special guest for you. Our next comic grew up right up the road here in Summit. And he could frequently be found here in Scotty's, in the parking lot Sunday morning, still drunk. Bring up Craig Pollack. Thank you, Gary. And Gary, before you go, I just want to thank you for putting all those mafiosos away. You're the reason I can't get a decent fucking pizza anymore, you fucker. So, 2017 is almost over, and I'll tell you what, I couldn't be happier. This was the worst year of my life medically. It all started when I had my first colonoscopy, which was a bit of a surprise because I was at the optometrist. Hey, he said, drop your pants, put your elbows on the table, relax. Now put your left hand over your eye and read the bottom line. Don't look at me like that, Kyle. I thought it was part of Trump care. So, anyway, I was like, Doc, that is a pretty intense exam there. He's like, well, you know, we like to be thorough here at Walmart. So on my way out, I actually started having some chest pains. So I went over to the cardiology department. And it was a good thing I did because I found out I actually have two major blockages. And the doctor was going over the chart with me. And she's using words like surgery and bypass. And I'm just getting real scared about this and nervous. She's like, but, you know, it'll be all right. And I'm like, well, Doc, look, I got one question, and I'm sure this is going to make me sound cheap or whatnot. But what is this going to cost me? And she says, oh, you don't have to worry about that. Your insurance will cover most of it. I said, well, Doc, this is where we have a little problem. See, I'm what you call underinsured. She's like, what do you mean underinsured? Does auto count? So she looks at me, she goes, collision? It's like, no, it dropped it at 45. So she's like, well, you know, Craig, maybe surgery isn't right for you. She looks at the chart, she goes, have you thought about red meat, cigarettes, hard alcohol? In fact, here's a flyer. We're having a sale on bacon this week. I was like, Doc, really? You don't think that this is going to make my condition worse and I may sue you? She looks at the chart again, she's like, you ain't going to make it to depositions. So I was like, all right, Doc, well, let me ask you one last question. Am I at least healthy enough for sexual activity? She slams the file on the table, puts her hand down on top, and goes, Craig, this is why you have a heart condition. You stress out over things that are never going to happen. Okay. But it really got me thinking about life. Not so much the things that I've done in life, but the things I haven't done yet. And I was home watching TV, and I got inspired to do a bucket list. You all know what bucket lists are, right? On my bucket list, I wanted new experiences, things I wouldn't normally do. And I was watching this show on HBO that really inspired me. It's called Cat House. So I decide I'm going to go to Vegas and I'm going to have a brothel experience. So I go out there and I get a rental car, and I'm up the counter with the rental car guy, and I said, where is the closest legal brothel to where I am standing right now? And he says, well, you know, prostitution ain't really legal inside Las Vegas. So what you got to do is you got to drive 90 miles north to Death Valley. Now, when you get about 90 miles out there, you're going to see a gas station and a candy shop. When you see those two things, there are going to be brothels all around you. You take your pick. So I'm like, okay, gas station and Death Valley makes sense. What's with the candy shop? Well, you don't want to show up there without chocolate for the ladies, now, do you? That's just not gentlemanly. It made sense. So I drive 90 miles into Death Valley. And there it is, the gas station and the candy shop. But the candy shop's closed. What do? I stop at the gas station, I run in, get a couple Snickers bars, continue on my way. So now I'm looking for signs, like what we know as signs, billboard type things for brothels. This is Death Valley. What I see is a wrecked airplane from the 50s. It was like an Air Force fighter jet that just crashed there. And with spray paint written on it, brothel, and an arrow pointing left. So I make the left turn. driving down the street, this road, it's like a gravel road. And all the way down, I'm not seeing anything in front of me, just basically Death Valley. And I'm thinking, what's at the end of this road? It's got to be like this oasis, like a Playboy Mansion type place with grottos and palm trees. And then I get to the end of the road, and it's 3 trailers with a neon sign on top of it that says Bristol, because the O was burnt out. I know, right? I get out of the car, I'm like, top of the world, Ma! Your boys arrived! So, anyway, I go up to the door, ring the doorbell, buzzer sounds, I walk in. And this part, I actually did live up to my expectations. I walk in, it's this thick, deep pile shag carpet, velvet-covered furniture, fake wood paneling, and in the corner is a rocking chair with an 80-year-old woman with an Afghan on her lap, crocheting. I'm like, okay, what did I get myself into here? She looks up at me and she goes, so what kind of lady are you looking for? And I'm just like, an easy one? So she goes, all right, well, we're going to I'll call out the lineup, and you can pick from the girls. But while you're waiting for that, why don't you go check out our cabinet? We got all sorts of lotions, jellies, oils, lubricants, and condoms. It's like, okay, condoms are a good idea. So I walk up to the cabinet, I'm looking at, and they've got the house brand condom. So I grab a box off the shelf, and I'm like, I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I look at the old woman, say, what are you crocheting? What are you knitting? She's like, baby booties. These girls get pregnant all the time. And that's when the house brand condoms went back on the shelf, and I figured Old Faithful in my wallet was probably good enough. So now the lineup comes out. And it's like a police lineup, except after you finger the perp, you really need to wash your hands. So the girls line up, and now I start to feel guilty, because I'm looking at them, and they're all like, they're beautiful to plain, 1 to 10. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, like who I choose. And then I think, wait a minute. I'm about to pay a girl to have sex with me in a triple wide in the middle of the fucking desert. She's been hurt before. Safe to say, right? Well, anyway, I decided to go with number 5, because even in my fantasies, I've got low self-esteem. So we go back into her room, and that's where the negotiation starts. She goes down the menu of the services. She gets to this one called the Girlfriend Experience. I'm like, that's it, I want that. She's like, you sure you want the Girlfriend Experience? Yes, I want it. Here's my credit card, take my money, go, let's do this. She's like, okay. She starts walking out. She turns around and she points to a pile of laundry. She goes, listen, while I'm doing this, do something with all that. She goes, so, pick up the laundry, I fold it nicely, put it all in her closet, then I make the bed, light a candle, get undressed, get in bed, and I wait. And I wait. Now I'm waiting, and I'm hearing all around me parties going on in all the other rooms, people swinging from chandeliers, but I'm waiting. Eventually, she comes back in, sits down at the computer, and starts shopping. And every now and then she turns around and she goes, what do you think of these heels? Do you think they'll look good on me? And I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? And then she gets up, she's like, all right, time's up, throws my credit card at me and walks out. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I just became the guy that everybody in high school said I would be. The guy that can't get laid in a whorehouse. So I'm getting dressed and I'm pissed. I'm just like angry. And then all of a sudden, a wave of calm washes over me. And I went from anger to being impressed because I realized I got exactly what I asked for, the Girlfriend Experience. While I was cleaning her room, she was fucking the neighbor, and then she maxed out my credit card. She was good. If she were she's like a method hooker. All right, she's the Meryl Streep of hookers. She took the job seriously, and I was impressed that she went to that level of customer service, that she owned the role. I even tipped her on the way out, cash. So I get back to Vegas, and now I want to go out. And I find out something that I wish I knew before I had that experience. There's a car service there, it's like Uber, but it's called Scroober. they pick you up and get you off at the same time. Could have saved me a whole night out. But anyway, after that, I decided I was going to do something a little more, I don't know, family-oriented. So I went to Florida to visit some relatives. Now, when I got there, at the airport, instead of calling an Uber, I called a Juber. Now, Juber is a service run by little old ladies, and when they pick you up and you get in the car, they start right in. I get in the car, and she's like, "So, Mr. Fancy Pants can't drive yourself to the hotel. You got to have someone come and get you. When's the last time you called your mother? Are you here to see your mother? You know, she worries about you. You look hungry. There's a brisket under the seat. And you're from New Jersey. If you see my son Larry, tell him to call me, for Christ's sakes." So, Larry, you're welcome. I got your guilt for you. So anyway, then I come back to Jersey and I find out next year we're actually getting Duber. It's not a car service. You call a guy, he shows up at your house with a bag of weed, 2 boxes of Twinkies, you watch Cheech and Chong movies for 3 days. Anyway, that's my time. I want to thank you all for playing along. Have a happy holiday, and let's make 2018 great.